Today we're going to take a second look at using right triangle trig to solve for a side of a triangle. Review, what is that funny saying that we use to set up trig ratios? And that saying is SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So let's use that to find the trig ratios for the following triangle. So I'm going to move this down, and I'll rewrite up SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so we always have to start by looking at the angle. Sine of C, cosine of C, tangent of C all deal with this angle right here. Let's label the sides. So I always start with the hypotenuse, which is across from the 90, the longest side, which is 6.4. 4 is opposite angle C, and 5 is adjacent to our next two sides C. All right, so we're going to start with sine of C. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so 4 over 6.4. Cosine of C is adjacent over hypotenuse, so 5 over 6.4. And tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 4 over 5. Okay, so that's setting up trig ratios. Start your angles, label your sides, and then set up the right ratios. Let's use trig to solve for sides. Okay, so there's two cases where x is on top and x is on bottom, so we're going to take a look at both today. So first step, start with your angle and label the sides that you have. So the hypotenuse is across from the 90. The adjacent side is the side next to your angle that's not the hypotenuse. So here we have A and H. So look at your trig ratios, which one has A and H, and that's cosine. So we're going to write cosine of 38 equals x over 11. And then we cross multiply and solve. So put a 1 under the cosine of 38 and cross multiply. We get x equals, I'm going to cross over the other way. I'll put the 11 first and then the cosine of 38. Since x is by itself, we can just type this into our calculator. Oops. So we have 11 and then cosine of 38. And we get 8.66, I'll round that to about 8.7. And since it's a leg, it should be smaller than your hypotenuse, and it is. All right, let's try the next one. Again, start with your angle that you know. So here, it's this angle up here. Label your sides. Again, we have the hypotenuse across from the 90, and the x is opposite the 40. So O and H, you check your trig ratios. O and H would be sine. So we have sine of our angle, 40, equals opposite over the hypotenuse. Again, we cross multiply and solve, so we have x equals 20 sine 40. Since x is by itself, we just type it in, 20 sine 40, and we get 12.8558. I'll round that to about 12.9. So here x is about 12.9 centimeters right there. Okay, let's take a look at when you have what you're trying to solve for on the bottom. So we'll see what that looks like. So again, start with your angle. So here it's 46 degrees. We have opposite, 12 is opposite the 46. We have the adjacent side. Look at your trig ratios. O and A would be tangent. So we're going to write tangent of 46 equals opposite over adjacent. We're going to cross multiply and solve. So we get 12 equals x tangent of 46. Now x is not by itself. So to get x by itself, we're going to get rid of the tangent of 46 by dividing. It's being multiplied, so we divide by tangent of 46. And that's what we put into our calculator. So we have 12 divided by tangent of 46, and we get 11.588, so about 11.6. So x is about 11.6 for that side length. All right, let's try the next one. So again, here's our angle. Label our sides. We have the hypotenuse across the 90, the opposite, that's sine. So sine of 59 equals 17 over x. We're going to cross multiply. So we get x sine of 59 equals 17. Divide each side by sine 59. And that's what we put in our calculator. 17 divided by sine of 59. And we get that side to be about 19.8. And it should be the longest side right now. It looks like it is. So 19.8 in centimeters. Okay. Let's do a review of 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90 triangles. So the first triangle's 30, 60, 90. And so you ask yourself, between the 30 and the 60, does that equal n, 2n, or n squared to 3? And this 4 equals 2n. So what that means is that n, if we divide by 2 here, n equals 2, and that goes between the 60 and the 90. So here x is 2. And if we know that side, then y right here is going to be 2 square root of 3. Okay, and then this is half of a square. If it's half of a square, these two sides are the same, and this side will be 7 square root of 2. So we'll review these concepts, and then tomorrow we're going to look at solving for an angle.